Well, I've been out here looking around and I finally found it. It is a 25-foot Imagine by Grand Design going to Sanford, Florida. I've already checked my VIN number and checked my number on the side there. I'm gonna get the truck turned around and get backed up to it, get my battery put on, see if we can't get this joker hooked up and get out of here. One thing I really don't like about picking one up when they're parked this close together, there's a lot of things. You can't get in to torque your lug nuts. You can't get in to check the trailer out really good and all that stuff. So you almost have to hook to it and pull it out. But I'm gonna try to look over it as absolute best I can before I hook to it. And like I say, I'm a big boy, that's a tight fit. So I can't really fit down through there, and I'm worried more about me scratching it going down through there than I am. But I don't see anything from this end. From here, this tight, I don't see anything to bother us. The tires look to be up. I don't know. The little end caps here are already gone. If they're not on there, I don't worry about them. If they are on there, I pull them off and put them in the side. I'll do this side first. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I barely take and pull this out. No more than it has to be. If you pull it too hard, it will break, no doubt. Pull it down just a little bit, and then you gotta hold that glove for me. Just barely pull this one out. The colder it is, the higher the likelihood of it breaking. And then just pull them both up at the same time. Right like that. Now your tag's on, and it's also got these little bit of padding behind it from them bungees, and it's under the tag light now. To me, that's the best way to do it. Them bungee cords in the description if y'all need to find them, but you can pick them up at Walmart or anywhere. Make sure your spare tire's bolted on good. A lot of times people will come through and get your tire off and put their tire back on if it's flat, and just make sure that them look good. I'll probably hit them with a torque wrench just to make sure they're not loose whenever I'm torquing the wheels down. Whoops. Look at that though. I knew I was close, I just didn't know how close. You gotta watch this latch in here and make sure that it goes behind the ball. Because if it gets hung on top of it, it won't do right. But also don't get your finger stuck in there. That's the last thing you'll do. Latch went under the ball. At least I think it did. Oh, it did. There we go. So now, y'all saw me just raise that up. or let that down. So now I'm raising it back up until I see it pick the weight up off of the hitch. Right there, or there. And then now we'll set our chains up. And you notice, I mean, if you guys watch my videos, you've heard me go on and on about it before in the past videos. I don't think to say it in all the videos because I said it in the past videos, but always get your battery hooked up first before you hook your power wire up. If not, there's a good chance you'll wind up with a blown fuse. But now that my battery's hooked up, I could go ahead and plug the lights in, but I want to tighten these up first. These saddles are a 1/2 inch wrench, and they don't have to be super tight. Just bring them down till they touch your frame rail. I go a 1/4 turn. Alright, when I'm doing this, I pull my chain straight up and down, make sure that it is straight up and down, not all twisted up like that. And the saddle, mine almost every time has to go right up under the edge of the propane. Plastic covers the propane tank. And make sure that that propane tank has a little bungee cord underneath it, holding it down. If it doesn't, I see people put straps across them anyway, but as long as that bungee's on there, I've never lost one. But if it's not on there, then I'd definitely take it off. I'll put it in the back of the truck or something. But once you get this, twist that down till it touches the frame, and then a 1/4 turn. You don't want to dent that frame or anything. And it doesn't take much to hold it in place. That is a 1/2 inch wrench. Every trailer is different, and I pull the slack out to where you don't have to put much on it whenever the jack has still got the trailer up to where the pressure is not down on the ball, because when you set it down, it's going to tighten these chains on up for you. So I think that's good, and if it's not, then we'll adjust them as we go. But I think that's going to be fine. Never ever turn loose of this bar until you got the pin in. I got a big old scar on my leg that I was explaining to somebody why you never turn this bar loose until the pin is completely in and locked. And while I was telling them, I turned the bar loose and it dug into my leg right here. So that's got that one. Cam it over, stick the pin in, and it will ride loose, but it won't come out. I've had them ride all the way to California. I lose them when I take them out and go to put them up, and they get lost. And if I needed to, I can move them back into this hole. But even though that looks tight, I believe it'll be perfectly fine. Always make sure to crisscross your chains. Make sure that they go down through here. Make sure they don't come over the bars. They need to drop straight down and go straight forward. And then now, since we're right here at it, we'll go ahead and hook our electrical cord up. Some might say I wait a little bit too long about hooking that electrical cord up, but I've not had a whole lot of light issues myself. And that's really the only thing that can go wrong. So, do you guys remember how many chain links we left hanging over there? Because I'll be honest with you, I do not. think it was 3. Pretty positive it was 3. I'm gonna put it on 3 and then we'll check it. Remember, don't turn loose of that bar till the pin is through and laid over, and it can't come out. It looks like it can, but it can't. All right, so now take our lock, put it through right here, put that through with it, and then the emergency breakaway. I drilled a hole in the receiver and put mine right there. That makes it pretty easy. And I have heard people say that you can't put it on the hitch. This is a hitch, this is a receiver. I've been DOT'd numerous times, nobody said a word. So, and then I pull the slight back this way on these stretchy cords, because if you want it, if it's gonna be tight, you would prefer it to be tight towards the truck and not on the side pulling on the pin. And that's that. That's gonna hold all that stuff where it's not gonna get into anything. So that's pretty much got us hooked up, y'all. Now, you wanna check this just to make sure that it's not tight, but it's really not. I mean, it's pretty loose and got a lot of stretch left in it. Now, if you have a trailer at home, or if you're pulling fifth wheels, if you look right up in there, I have bought one of those. One of those stretchy cables. And the reason I bought it is every now and again, I'll have one with a cable too short, and when I turn hard to the right, it will snatch out and lock my brakes down. What this is gonna allow me to do is hook it right in here, and if it needs to stretch, it can. And then when I unhook it, it'll just fall back in the bed of my truck. I found those on Amazon too. I'll leave a link for them too. So I had never even seen one until I started seeing them on these campers. But go ahead and let her jack down. But I went straight and bought one and put one on my gooseneck at home, so I think it's gonna be a good deal. So we're hooked up and ready to pull out. You guys are gonna watch me, right? Don't let me hit nothing. Okay. So when I pull forward, normally first thing I do is check my brakes. But this being as tight as it is, I'm not real worried about the brakes. I'm gonna pull straight forward, barely missing this trailer to my right. And then always watch your tail swing on the back. So now, that's what I'm gonna do. I knew you guys were watching me. There's plenty of room over there. So, that being said, something else I want to show you is back around here. When you're pulling out a line, this is just my opinion. This is not something I'm taking responsibility for, but what I watch for, let me turn my headlight back on. What I watch for as far as getting into this trailer is, you can see there's not a lot of room up there. But what I'm watching for is, as soon as these tires are past the nose of this trailer, when I turn, the tail swing will swing it away from that. Should. Still gotta watch it really close. That's not a guarantee. You know, it's just the way it should work. So as soon as I saw my tires getting close to the front of the trailer, I knew that I could go ahead and start turning a little bit. So that being said, I should be good to pull on out now. So I looked at all my corners. I should be good on all of them. So there we go. Those axles pop a lot. That'll scare you to death when you're pulling out of somewhere like this. So now we got the little baby trailer out of here. Stop right here, turn our 4-way flashers on. We're gonna get our torque wrench out. So I lost audio in this part of the video, but I did want to make sure and show you guys, if you open this door right here, there is a little red switch like this one right here, and it turns the master power off and on, and this switch right here turns the dock lights out front off and on. Now I just went ahead and turned the dock lights off, and then went ahead and turned the master disconnect off. But by turning that master disconnect off, sometimes it will not allow your battery to charge. But I checked the jack on this one, the light was working, the jack was working, so it should charge my battery even still going down the road with the master disconnect off. So go ahead and close this up and get on our way. Just woke up in Rochester, Indiana, and I figured I would show you guys around this monster. It's funny, the other day I woke up and I was complaining because I didn't have any shorts in the truck. This morning I wake up and there's snow on everything. At least it's not sticking. But checking everything out, and with this trailer being as small as it is, I may wind up, normally I only leave 2 links hanging on the weight distribution, and I think my airbags messed me up when I was hooking up last night because I thought they were all the way down, and they did have just a little bit of air in them, but I'll probably leave it the way it is. But I always like to get out and look around the trailer the next morning after I get hooked up, just to make sure I didn't miss anything in the dark if I hooked up at night. But so far everything looks good, and I have already been around it once this morning. So now this one over here next to me, it's a friend of mine from Mississippi with a 5th wheel, and he has just started a YouTube channel. Y'all may have seen him, might not have. His channel is called SemperFi Transport. I'll leave a link in the description. He is doing some RV transport videos, some homesteading videos. He's a reserve sheriff's deputy, and he's a Marine, so he got a lot of good information in the sheriff. Got a pretty good setup. I like it, man. I did a video, it's actually supposed to come out tonight. I don't know when that is, but I tell you, U.S. Marine Corps on his mud flap, and reflective tape behind the mud flap hanger. So he built his own mud flap, where I was showing not long ago, showing on mine where I have mine installed at Dan's. You know, he just built his own, and they passed him with flying colors. So, you know, you can make your own mud flap. But yeah, I guess we'll check with these guys, and we'll probably get on down the road. We'll stop in Glendale and get something to eat, and get headed on down to Sanford, Florida, which is over just south of St. Augustine, Florida. So 16 hours. Another thing I was going to ask, I know a lot of you guys that watch my channel have a truck similar to mine, and one thing that I really wanted when I got my truck is cab lights. And I was wondering if anybody has installed cab lights aftermarket, and if so, have you had any trouble? If not, you know, I want them, but I'm just real nervous about drilling holes in the top of my truck. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is Tuesday around lunchtime, and I wished I was saying it was Tuesday morning, but I kind of slept that away. I overslept by about 2 hours this morning, which is fine. It's not a big deal to me. But coming into Jacksonville, and we are, I want to say 133 miles from delivery. Now, they quit receiving at 3 o'clock. The GPS, Google Maps is showing I'll be in there at 3:17. the lady did say if I would call her and let her know, they would stay late. You know, they'd stay till 3:30. So we'll see how that goes. If it looks like I'm gonna be able to make it really close, if I can get in there at 3:15, 20 after 3, something like that, I will probably go ahead and try to get it off today. If it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen, I'll go to the Flying J in St. Augustine, hold up, and be there first thing in the morning. So that's how I kind of got that plan. But on the weight distribution on this trailer, I did have my airbags aired up when I put it on the other night, and I didn't know that. It's really messing me up not having my airbag controller to tell me where it's at in the truck. And for whatever reason, it was I had them aired up and I didn't think about it. Which, you know, normally you can take the little controller here and push any button on it and it'll tell you where they're at. But with that not working, so anyway, I let the airbags. I went ahead and I left 3 chain links hanging when I put the weight distribution on, and it was fine, but I could just tell it was too much. And that comes with experience. You'll just know when it's not riding right. So I went ahead and extended it out. Now I've only got 2 links hanging on each side, and this thing is riding like a dream. I mean, the last 25 footer I pulled, it was kind of bouncy. It was like it was a little more tongue heavy, but this one, it's riding exceptionally well. The 17 footer I pulled out to California that time, I was really excited. I got a 17-foot camper. I'm gonna get great fuel mileage, and I'm gonna make, I'll make a little bit extra money on this one. Now it used more fuel. It was, I don't know, it was something about the way the wind was catching it. And it rode like a daggone buckboard all the way to California. I didn't care for that one. I've steered away from them since. So I was kind of concerned this one might be the same way, but so far it's been great, especially after I let the air out of the airbags and put the weight distribution down the link. It really made a big difference and just smooth as silk. So, and with the weight distribution, there are a ton of guys that say, well, I don't need it, I don't use it, To me, it literally makes the truck ride better when you have any bumper pull on, because it puts the pressure on all 4 tires, plus it also spreads weight back to the camper. And a lot of times, people that I know closer, even with 1 tons, when I was with the other company and weight distribution wasn't required, I believe it significantly affects how your steer tires wear. I really do, because when you put a trailer on the back, even of a 1 ton, and it presses down any and all on the back of that truck, it may not squat, but does the front end come up? When you put the pressure down on the back, does the front end raise up? Because if it does, that throws you out of alignment. That'll cause you steer tires to cup and dip and chop and all that stuff. Anyway, I just think it's a really good thing. I don't mind putting it on. I don't have an issue with it at all. And I don't feel like I have to have it. I mean, I worked for the other company for a year and didn't even own a weight distribution hitch. And they didn't require it. And then I pulled the 31 foot out in California a couple weeks ago, and through high wind and everything else didn't have it. So I don't have to have it. But my truck rides so much better with it. I would choose to have it. And not to mention, if you get into high wind, even with this little trailer right here, if it doesn't move but 300 to 400 pounds back onto the trailer, off the truck back onto the trailer, well, that's a win, because you've got more stability on the trailer now. I never heard of, rarely ever, I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but you don't hear about a 1 ton, 3/4 ton, little truck, big truck. You don't hear about many of them getting blown over not being loaded. But you hear about the campers getting blown. I've seen campers get blown over in campgrounds. It's the campers what you're worried about, not the truck. So the weight distribution, when it adds that extra few 100 pounds back to the truck, it helps. It really helps with the weight. Where's he going? His door's open. You guys see this? Not only is he splitting lanes, but the daggum door's open. and the sign on the back says animals on board. That's, I hope he doesn't have any animals on board right now. So that right there happens on these campers too. You'll be riding along thinking everything's good. That's why it's extremely important to keep a constant check on your mirrors, because you'll be riding along, everything is great, and you look back and that door, the wind will push that door shut, and then if you're not keeping a real steady watch on your mirrors, you won't never know that it's open. But you go around a curve and that door swings out and hits another car, that you know. So always try to keep a really close eye on your mirrors and looking up and down the sides of the camper to see what it's doing. Make sure the awning is not loosened up. Make sure that nothing looks out of place. Make sure everything is tucked in nice and neat next to that camper, and there isn't anything whipping in the wind, because that'll be bad. Especially on even a 500-600 mile trip. It doesn't take a lot of whipping in the wind for something to come apart and come loose. So here at La Mesa RV in Sanford, Florida, and small little place, they got the cones out here. You pull in between them when you get here, and they come out and check you out. I can hear it like 3:28. They quit receiving a hard stop at 3:30. They want you here by 3. So these guys were good enough to go ahead and get me in. Pretty happy about that. I'm unhooked. I've got my battery put up. Everything's ready to go. So after I delivered in Sanford at La Mesa RV, I was going to go out back up through St. Augustine and try to find some food on the beach. And I really like it down here. Y'all didn't know that. But, I decided to cut through and come over 75 and cut up. It just kind of made more sense. I didn't want to get hung up in Jacksonville rush hour traffic or any of that stuff. I used to run this a lot in the 18-wheeler back when I had my 18-wheeler, and I used to get hung up in Jacksonville quite a bit, so I figured this would avoid that. And Reddick, the fuel was cheaper in Reddick than it was anywhere else. I could have bought it up and down through there, so I figure I'll shoot over here, and I'm probably only going to buy like $250 worth of fuel to get me back up to where fuel's cheaper up around Nashville is where I got it before. So that brings me, this load paid $19.75. Load paid $19.75, and I had, so far I got fuel in Nashville. I did wind up getting $450 in Nashville because I pulled in there with the fuel light on, and it was like right at $4.50 a gallon. And then I went up and I came back to Glendale and bought fuel, and I'm still running on that fuel. So all in, it was about $7.50 is what I put in so far, and then I plan on putting about $2.50 in up here, and that will get me home and then back up to Nashville pretty easily, I think. So that left me about $9.75 out of this trip. So that's not the greatest, but that little trailer pulled like it wasn't nothing. Everything went really good. I was glad I got unloaded today versus having to sit and wait until tomorrow, which was my fault because I overslept a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do about 4 of these in a row, just doing one a week. That way I can get some stuff took care of around the house, and then I'll probably jump back on the Californias and stuff. But anyway, I am going to end this video and try to find something to eat. I hadn't ate since yesterday in Glendale, so I'm starting to get pretty hungry. It's like 5 o'clock here, or yeah, 6 o'clock here. But anyway, so I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope everybody's having safe travels, and I will see y'all again in the next video. Thanks for watching.